So just in case you thought that Canada wasn't psychotic enough, with their behavior of late, I'm talking about the CFIA's murdering behavior. They're at it again. They haven't gotten enough. They still want more. They still have bloodlust in them, I guess. My God. Here, take a look at this. Here we go.
An animal sanctuary in British Columbia is asking the Canadian Food Inspection Agency to spare its peacocks after an avian flu outbreak forced the culling of 15 birds. Critter Aid in Summerland says they immediately shut down their farm after several chickens tested positive for H5N1 a few weeks ago. They say their peacocks have been completely isolated from the affected areas and have no direct contact with other birds. The sanctuary says they're still waiting for the CFIA to make a decision.
Oh God, you're gonna wait for those buggers. We see what happens when the CFIA wants to make a decision. They just go through guns blazing, balls to the wall, doing whatever the heck they want to do anyway. And before I start ranting about them, but just think about this. Summerland, these peacocks, they're at the Critter Aid Animal Sanctuary. They recently had to cull 15 birds following the H5N1 outbreak. Oh, you know that these outbreaks are not really a big deal. Okay. I'm not trying to make light of illness, but I'm trying to tell you, people get the flu, people get sick. I had somebody write to me in the comments and they said they had the bird flu. They caught it from a pet or parakeet or I don't know, from something, and they're fine. It's a flu. You're going to get sick. Why do we have doctors and hospitals and pharma and natural health remedies? You're going to be okay. You really are going to cull beautiful peacocks now? Like, I love peacocks. I got a thing for peacocks. I have a peacock tattoo. I have a peacock picture there. My last name is Krishna. We always have peacocks in our sort of like lore, in our imagery, and like Hindu imagery, right? I love it. I grew up like that. That's my thing. I love peacocks, but but that's not why I'm saying I don't want them killed. I don't care what kind of birds they are. If they're parrots, I don't want them killed, because I think that this is stupid. And I think that, we've shown now that I had Dr. Byron Bridle on, who explained so well that you don't kill the healthy, that the ostriches had herd immunity. And this is endemic. You're always going to have wild migrating birds, and the birds that survive flus are the strong birds. They have the herd immunity. For the CFIA to kill the healthy is the stupidest thing ever. And I think he said in the past 20 years that I think there's been 500 people that have died from the bird flu in the past 25 years or 20 years. But in one night, the CFIA went and gunned to death 314 ostriches. And by the way, where are the rest of the ostriches? I heard that, I thought they were like there were 400. And what happened to the eggs? And there's all these talk of what happened in mulchers, and there's lots of stuff going on up there. And quite frankly, I haven't really been able to pay attention to anything else. I know that the stupid budget passed because these dimwits go and support him. Like, everything hinges on Elizabeth May. Or everything hinges on these small parties like the Bloc or the NDP. They got to get in bed, and then they can push something through when the majority of the country is either liberal or conservative. But I don't have much to say about any of these politicians right now, because none of them spoke up strongly about the ostriches and the brutality of it. I haven't been able to really care so much about other things, because I just feel so sick every time I see the overhead shot of the kill pen and all the carcasses. It is really such a disgusting thing that happened. I'm recording this video right now. It's the 20th, and on the 22nd there's going to be these big rallies, these big farmer protests all across the country, as there bloody well should be. Because when the CFIA gets their claws into something, they do this. They don't do this to protect you, to keep you safe. That is misinformation that you hear on the news, because the flu isn't going to make you that sick. You're going to be okay. There's no need to kill anything. You're going to be okay. But the CFIA doing what they did, that is just like setting a precedence. It's saying, hey, you little farmer, You got what? You got a chicken farm, or you got a goat farm, or you got a pig farm, or you got pets, or you got whatever. We're coming for you because we will do what we want to do with whatever agenda we want to push, right? You can do your little court thing. You can go up to the BC Supreme Court. Heck, you can go up to the Supreme Court of Canada. Big deal. We don't care. We won't even hear you. We will not hear you. And in the same day that we make a ruling, we will send the marksman into the kill pen. And that is the display of power. They're telling you we have the power. Who are you? You're going to do what we say, little farmer. That's the country we're living in now. Absolutely psychotic, right? So there should be protests, all of the yin yang, and respect for the news, respect for the CFIA, respect for the government, respect for the politicians. Mine, I've lost it. I've totally lost it. Okay, a couple of other things, just to stay with this we'll follow the saga of the peacocks. We're staying on the ostrich story, but a couple of other things, a lot of people have said that, oh, well, they were, they'd worked with this Japanese scientist, and is that a bad thing? If the ostriches have antibodies in the eggs or they had something, I think maybe they could apply for funding. Isn't that what we pay our taxes for, for things like this? If you had a farm where you had to run a farm and make it, make money off of it or live, that was the way you made a living. Wouldn't you be seeking out sources of a way to make a living? So sometimes people criticize their work with the Japanese guy. I don't give a I don't care. I don't care. I might do the same thing. I'd be like, oh, hey, whoa, the antibodies are this powerful? Okay, well, let's look into this. Oh, okay, maybe we can apply for a grant or some funding or something. What's wrong with that? There was a guy here in BC that from Edson Motors that built some sort of hybrid, was it a semi truck or a tractor, or he built some sort of something vehicle, and he applied for funding because the government said that we have a program that's going to give you funding if you apply for a grant. And so he built something quite ingenious, and they didn't give him the grant. So it's the government saying, oh, you think you're going to get your little grant? Ha ha. We'll show you. Or something. It's like the things that you think they'd give you the grants for, they don't. And I don't have any problem with people trying to make money. That's how the world works. World works money. It's money. Like, I mean, you got to make a living. You think you're going to do all this stuff for free? You're going to feed 400 ostriches? How? You have to make a living. So the criticism, I don't find that fair. There's also some of these hacks online showing videos about the possibility that Katie somehow worked for Global News. Oh, big friggin' deal. I worked for them too. You think I could orchestrate any type of psyop? Are you stupid? I'll show you this one video here from this guy. All right, here we go.
Remember, I've been saying all along, all these things are staged events. Well, I got proof now. I got you, Katie. Just like how this ostrich has your arm. Well, shit. She's a part of global news. Oh, and this is all real shit, right? That this whole thing wasn't orchestrated in order to get people to trust the science a little more? Yeah, right. Check this out. So did a little AI
You're going to trust Global News as science?
search. In 2014, Katie Passitney was associated with Global News on air personality, specifically appearing in the program Weekend Global News Hour at 6. Her work involved
It's not really a program, it's a newscast. I used to direct that for like 10 years, that newscast, the Weekend Global News Hour.
being a part of their news team, which filmed at Global News Television Studios in Burnaby, British Columbia. Her role at the time was an anchor and correspondent for the
Yeah.
weekend news broadcast. Sorry, my eyes are a little bad.
Your eyes are bad. How about you pre-read your shit before you go on camera? But I worked there. I worked in Burnaby. Everybody knows I worked for Global News for 20 years. I never saw Katie. I don't recall her being a reporter. I don't recall her being an anchor. This is friggin' what, 12 years ago? You're going to make what do you think, she orchestrated the mass killing of her own ostriches a decade after because she worked at Global News? Even if she did work at Global News, I did too. What would that do? But I have to say, I never saw her, and I directed the weekend news hour for years. Go call up and ask anybody there. 604-420-2288. Go call them and then ask to be put to the newsroom. Or go ask anybody, did I work there? Everybody knows I worked there for that long. I never saw Katie. And even if I did, big deal. If she, you think that gives you power? We're all just a bunch of schmucks. We don't have power. I didn't have power. I was a newscast director. I had no power when I would go to editorial and beg the anchors and beg the producers. Look, people are going to get sick, you know. Haven't you read about this thing that you're trying to put in people, mandate? I had no power. They kicked me out on my ass and call me misinformation. So, whatever this item is that's circulating around, maybe she auditioned. Maybe she wanted to be an anchor. Maybe she wanted to get in the business back then or something. I don't know. Does that mean she orchestrated the killing of her ostriches? You dumb numbnuts? I don't think so. Yeah, so that's where I stand on that. And speaking of global news, let's look at this. Okay, again, this will be Mike Agrabo and Sonia Sunger. They both know me. Sonia Sunger knows me. Wasn't too long ago I saw her when I was at my day job. I don't work at that place anymore, but I saw her. Okay, here we go. Let's see what they have to say.
Some disturbing news from the tech world as a new report finds that Meta is making millions of dollars in profit from scams running on its platform. Mike Agrabo from Connected Media joining us now with more on this. So what's happening with Meta?
Well, you got to be careful what you see on the internet. Obviously, we say that time and time again. Meta's huge. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. And they make billions of dollars on ads that you see that are going up and down the news feed. So I always look at some of these and I'm like, well, a little apprehensive. So some studies done by
Oh, look, it's me. Okay, he just said you got to be careful what you see on Meta or online. You got to be careful what you see on the news. The news is 100% misinformation. And I love how they're doing this story, going some dangerous, some things to tell you about on the internet. And this is me. This is my video that I did with a scientist or an immunologist that they put on their weekend news show, telling you that the birds had to be culled. The Supreme Court shouldn't have even heard anything, and that you will die if you get the bird flu. And he came on my show, good for him, and I had on Dr. Byron Bridle, and we dismantled this guy. But somehow Global News is like showing this B-roll of me, my face happens to be in there, and saying, well, this has nothing to do with me. They're just kind of doing a story about Meta profiting from ad scams. But this is not a mistake. My face is there.
routers basically are saying
Routers.
up to 10% or even more of Meta ads are scams. That is $16 billion a year.
Some disturbing news from the tech world as
Whatever. You're disturbing. You people are disturbing. It's absolutely disturbing. So yeah, Jennifer Palma interviewed the scientist, the guy Jason Tetro, and I had him on, and he's willing to come on again and talk about other things, and good. He should be. So yeah, that's that. There you go. I think the only misinformation you have to be aware of is what the news tells you. And I know you know that now. Okay, thank you for watching this video today. If you can, come out on the 21st, November 21st. Sorry, November 22nd. It's the 22nd. It'll be Saturday. Please do join a rally in your local neighborhood. Get out there and show that you don't get down with this stuff, this UN, whatever, this stuff there is that they're doing to us. We as Canadians are going to lose our country if Canadians don't wake the hell up, wake up anyone who's sleeping and say, get your head screwed on straight. We don't want this. And I know that it feels like an uphill battle, but if not us, then who? Right? Okay, thank you for watching this video. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, turning on your post notifications so you don't miss an upload from me, because I'm kind of random with that. And if you could like the video, if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. That'd be most appreciated. And Anita K is how you find me on YouTube. Okay, have a lovely evening. And we don't want any more death, okay? Jeez. All right. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.